Hello everybody! It's been a while since I've been on here. I had made another video and then I just never uploaded it. So it's been pretty busy here. I feel like the fall is always so busy with starting back up with homeschool. The weather's great, so we're outside a lot. And then we always go back to our hometown in Albuquerque, New Mexico to visit family for the holidays. And I don't know, it's just gets busy. So anyways, I'm standing here in my garden and I thought I would give a little garden tour. So tomorrow will be December 1st and my garden looks okay. So we ended up having last week, I believe, while we were out of town, we had a pretty cold day. It was like 24 degrees. And so a couple of my plants, more my brassicas, they look a little bit like they got a little bit of frostbite on them, but I'm not too worried about it. It looks like they're perking up and I'm sure they're gonna bounce back. So you'll notice that on some of my plants. And then some of them were a little bit leggy in the beginning, so they're not as strong as they were last year with my brassicas. So yeah, I think my biggest thing that I'm learning here is I just need to plant my stuff with better sun. I was trying to see if I could get away with planting them with kind of full sun, but on the lower end of that. And I think I really just need to make sure next year that we cut down some more trees and have some of my vegetables in better places. So let's get started. I'll give you a little view of the garden. We got really lucky and we saw these on the side of the road and another really big round one that we're gonna use for a brooder. But I'm gonna plant my mints, I believe, in this one, and I'm not sure about this one yet, but here is the first bed. I just have my asparagus. I'm gonna have to cut it back here soon. I have some random lettuces that I planted. Look, this one is going to seed, so I'll just pull that up. Here is some of my leeks, which if you watch some of my earlier videos, these looked like this. And they really slowed down during the summer because they don't like the heat. But I left them in and I'm so glad I did because they are growing great now. So I'll have these probably in another month or so. They'll be ready to pull. I could pull them now, they're just not that big. And then I went ahead and planted some more. So you can just see down here, there's like 3 rows of leeks. Then I have some Swiss chard in here, some kale, more Swiss chard. And then I have 5 Brussels sprout plants. Sorry, I forgot what I'm talking about. You can see they're starting to get a few Brussels sprouts on them. They're still really tiny, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting off some of these bottom leaves. That way it could just put some more energy into growing the Brussels sprouts. So I'm really excited about that. I have a few more Brussels sprouts in a different bed, but this area just looks so pretty to me. And then here, this is just some collard greens here. All right, here is my next bed. I have some yarrow growing here. Transplanted these ones down here from over here. If you guys remember, I had that little in-ground herb bed, which we took it out and replanted things just because hopefully this whole area will be seeding with different like container plants on this side of the garden. We're hoping that this year we can get all of this gravel and everything, but we'll see, or by next spring. So I have some yarrow here, and then I have some rue, which is a new herb to me. I saw it at one of my local nurseries, so I just bought it. And as you can see, we've already had a frost, so basically anything that you see in here is frost hardy. So here's some broccolis. These are the ones that I said look super sad. This one is starting to put off a little head, so that's why I'm not too concerned, because you can see these leaves, see how it's like has the white on it. This just means that it got frostbite, but they're coming back and they're starting to produce a little head, but they did kind of slow down here. So here I have some purple cabbage. I did this variety just because you can store it longer, and I've never grown purple cabbage and it's really pretty. You can see I do have a little bit of damage. And I have seen some caterpillars on here, but it's okay. I don't really worry about bugs too much. And if I notice they're really going after a plant, I usually just try to hand pick them off. Or if it's just one plant, I just let them destroy that plant and then they leave the rest of mine alone. So that's a part of my organic gardening, is I don't stress the bugs too much. Unless they are totally demolishing everything, then I may like use some natural products, but I just feel like hand picking has been the best, or using a trap crop. You can notice here on some of my Chinese cabbages right here, they have a little bit of damage too, but they're doing great. This one is actually ready to pick. It's beautiful. I love these. These are so big. You can see, yeah, this one is definitely ready. It already has its head already. So, and the whole plant is edible. So sometimes I pick these off when I'm taking them inside because they're huge, and I give these to like my chickens or our bunny. But the whole thing is edible. You don't have to get rid of these bottom leaves unless you want to. So I have 3 of these cabbages. Here is my beautiful calendula that I started from seed. These are so pretty. I need to look up the variety that these ones are because it's not what I typically grow. So I'm really happy with how these are growing. Here I have some spinach. I had poor germination on my spinach this year, so I think I need to just stick with starting those indoors and then bringing them out because they were just not as great in germination in the soil, but they're starting to come back. You can see I have another one over there. I have a few kale plants in here, which we've been eating off of. I think this one is going to be cauliflower. Hasn't started putting off a head yet. And then I have these mini bok choys. We've been eating lots of bok choy. It's delicious. My son's out here watching me, and it's always so funny to me when I have a little visitor watching me talk to my phone. But I made the bok choy the other night, and I put some avocado oil in a pan with a little bit of sesame oil, and I chopped up the bok choy and I cooked it in that. I added a little bit of honey and cocoa aminos and onion and garlic and just sauteed it up, and we had it on the side of some elk steak, and it was so good. I feel like if you made like a pad thai and had that on the side or added it to it, it would be 10 out of 10. So if you haven't grown bok choy, I highly suggest it. They're actually pretty quick growing, so you could definitely do it again in the spring. Here is some more of my kale. I have the dinosaur kale. I think this is the Russian kale here. And all of that looks good. I had a few squirrels in my garden eating my stuff, but other than that, we've been picking it and eating it, and it's been great. I love having spinach and kale. Those are probably my 2 favorite greens to grow in the garden, and because you can freeze it. So lettuce is great, and I love having my salad greens, but they last for so long. And if you have a big harvest and then you take them all inside, then it's kind of done. What I do for mine is I just clip them at the base and leave some of the leaves on, and then they come back, and that's kind of how I harvest those. But you have to just pick them when you want them, versus like the kale and the spinach I can freeze, and I would love to have more of that. That way I could add to smoothies or breakfast, or just have a little bit more storage. Or kale chips are really yummy. So yes, next year I will do even more kale and more spinach. Here I have some, what is this? This is not dill, this is fennel. So I really like to use this in my bone broth. And here I left them a little bit more spaced out so that I could harvest them as a whole butterhead lettuce head. So a whole head of lettuce. Over here, I still need to do some clean outs in my garden, but over here is just some cilantro that is still in the garden that I started from seeds. And over here is just this lonely sage, but this will be a good spot for this to be in. I may dig it up and just put it more in this area so it can grow a little bit fuller. I have random lettuce in here. I have some celery that's growing over here. I don't know what these are. I think that we grew some parsnips, but obviously Those are really struggling. They don't look good. I actually need to probably water the soil here soon. This bed, the same thing, some cauliflower. This artichoke plant came back. I'm so excited about it. I had an artichoke plant here and here. I had 4 of them, and this is the only one that survived. So I am so, so grateful. These are beautiful, beautiful plants. If you are looking to do a food forest or something like that, artichoke plants, 100%. If you can grow them in your area, do it, because they produce these really, really pretty purple flowers. So if you don't pick the artichoke to eat it and you just leave it on there, it'll be a beautiful purple flower. And you can see like the foliage on this is just so pretty. It's like, especially when they first come out, they're like this dusty, like sage blue color. Love those. And then I also have some baby greens here that I've been picking from. Over here, I have some carrots. I'm not the best carrot grower, but these are actually looking pretty good. I may need to thin out them a little bit more, but I'm happy with this small little patch of carrots. I have some snow peas or snap peas here growing along the trellis. They looked a little bit sad when I got back home, but they look like they're perking up. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to harvest some peas off of them soon. Let me pin this one back up. And then here I have a bunch of garlic planted along the edge, more calendula, and just snap peas and garlic. Over here I have some rutabagas. I'll have to show you. I have one in my daughter's bed and it looks really good, but these are not quite yet bulbing out yet, but this one is getting a little bit thicker. And on this side I have beets. Another thing I was telling my husband that I want to do is I really want to grow my beets and my rutabagas and things like that in rows next year. So I did rows in New Mexico, like in-ground rows, and I loved the way things grew in that. And I don't know if it was just the soil was looser because I built it up versus it being more compact in the bed. But I've just noticed with some of my root crops that they haven't done so good. I didn't get any beets in the spring, and now these just look okay. Like none of them really have any heads on them. So I'm not sure if they're even going to eventually produce, but I'll show you. You can see they don't look super great. They're kind of flimsy. There's a few, like this one looks a little bit, this one's starting to get a head over here, but they don't look super great. And then these are just some rutabagas. And then on this side, it's just a bunch of lettuce and baby greens. This has been doing amazing. I came in here, you can see this is where I cut and see all these baby ones coming up again. So I'll come in here and I'll cut this whole top off, and I'll just do that in different sections as we need salads. And then they'll just continue to grow. So you can just see how good that works. Oh, here's a good area where you can see where I cut them down, and then they're starting to come back already. So I have more garlic. So all of this will be ready in the spring, late spring time. So I'm excited about that. My garlic is doing really, really great. And then random butterhead lettuces that I will just harvest the head. And then over here, I have some parsley. This parsley is doing amazing. I moved it from that herb bed over here, and I transplanted it, and it has just done so, so good. Here are some cauliflowers. I don't think any of them have started heading yet. Maybe this one is almost going to start, but they're a little bit slower too. You can tell they just got a little bit frostbitten on the bottom and a little bit of bug damage, but that's what I have going on in here. It's just cauliflower and broccoli and another cabbage here that will probably be ready in a couple weeks, and then some more Swiss chard, some more kale. You'll notice that I kind of have my lettuces and my kales in different stages, and that's just so hopefully I can harvest it longer. So once those kales kind of tucker out, although they may not tucker out until the spring, then hopefully these ones will be big and ready and I can start harvesting off of those. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have going on in here is just some more kale. More kale. You can see that's a little baby one. And then some sad looking broccolis, which I don't know what on earth happened to this one, but I'll have to show you. Maybe you guys can see with me if my stuff produces good. So I've had a lot of failures out here in Texas, and I'm hoping next year I don't. It's interesting to go from my old house, my really good soil, to coming here, and I've just kind of have learned a lot of things and all of that. But anyways, here we go. Here's this bed. I have a couple more cabbages. Here's some more Brussels sprouts. I have 4 more in this bed here. Let me flip the camera around. All right, I had my littles wake up from a nap, and so I had to run back inside, but I'm gonna finish this video so I can get it posted. Real quick, look at my front porch. Maybe I should flip this around. We painted our house too, my husband and I. We painted it white. Like super cute. I still have a bunch of my fall stuff up. I need to make it more Christmassy, but I did buy these. These are just like a plastic container I got from Lowe's, but I bought these little trees to put in them. That way I could use them year round. So they look super cute. Here's my little puppy Mesa. Huh. And then over here is another one of my green stalks where I just have some kales. These are getting destroyed by probably some beetles. Some Swiss chard, things like that. I actually am going to move. I'm going to transplant all these back into the garden. I think I just want to have this available for some flowers a little bit later on. Let's finish off the rest of this garden tour. Here is my daughter's bed. She has some carrots. Her soil has been so bad, so I'm hoping that it'll get better, but she has some random carrots in here growing. I think she planted those. These are some more of my bok choys that I've been harvesting. This is a rutabaga. I'm gonna grow a bunch more of these next year and in the spring. Look at the base of this. So the best way I could describe it is that rutabaga kind of tastes like a cross between a potato and a radish, but definitely not as strong as a radish. So if you don't like radishes, I'm sure you could still grow these and love them. I make like a rutabaga soup with them, just like I would do a potato soup, but with rutabagas. I didn't grow as much this year, so I'll probably do like half potatoes, half rutabaga. But yeah, I love those and definitely will be growing more of those in rows next year. You can see I have a few more in here growing. And then my son's bed, we didn't really do much in his. He has a few broccolis growing in there, a few snap peas, and his snap peas are starting to put off some flowers, you can see. But other than that, that's it. That's the garden. My elderberries still look good. My elderberry bushes, I have 4 of them. I think I'm gonna add more elderberry next year. I make and sell elderberry, and so I would love to be able to produce some of my own, although I know with as much as I sell, it wouldn't be realistic for me to make all the elderberry that I need. But at least if we could cover our family and like immediate family, that would be awesome. And yep, that's it. Oh, let me show you guys one more thing. This is our fire pit area we did. So beautiful. My favorite spot in the yard is this area because you can see the garden and it's so nice and cozy. I have this beautiful green stalk with all these flowers, some mint. Like look at these are so beautiful. And that is it. You can see my white house in the background, but I am actually really loving fall this year in Texas. The colors are so beautiful. Last year, this time of year, we had no color change. It went from green to brown to black. Like things just looked like they died out of nowhere. And this year you can tell all around me, it looks like fall and it's so beautiful. So anyways, thank you for joining me today. I hope to be doing more videos in the future. I am currently in herbal school. For those of you that don't know, I'm actually a registered nurse. I've worked in the pediatric ER while I was in nursing school and as a tech for 5 years, and then I did labor and delivery, urgent care, and family practice. But my heart is with natural remedies, all of that type of stuff, using Western medicine when needed and not as a first defense. So that is it from me today. Look at how beautiful it is here. I love this time of year. I hope you guys have a good week. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if there's anything you want to see specifically, and thank you for watching.